Welcome to our history. Today we are looking into the life of Kenya's first Attorney General, Mr. Charles Njonjo, who was also nicknamed as the Duke of Kabetishire, or simply known as Sir Charles, because of his British mannerism. Few men ever made as dramatic an impact on Kenya's political life as Charles Mugane Njonjo. Even though he had been born in an elite African family that had collaborated with the British, Njonjo was a comparatively unknown political figure before independence. As other nationalists such as Ronald Gala, Oginga Odinga, Tom Mboya, and Masinde Muliro agitated for freedom, Njonjo was serving the colonial government in various positions. Among the positions he held in the colonial government were Assistant Registrar General, Senior Crown Counsel, and Deputy Public Prosecutor. Being the son of a collaborating chief, Njonjo had received good education in South Africa and Britain, something that placed him in a better position to become Attorney General when Kenya gained internal self-government in 1963. After independence on 12 December 1963, Njonjo became a household name in Kenya, thanks to his political blunders and his political enemies. Known to friends and foes alike as Sir Charles or the Duke of Kabetishire, Charles Njonjo wielded too much power in Kenyatta's government. Mzee Kenyatta relied on him for advice in times of crisis and even during normal times. It is said that senior appointments in the government could not be made without Njonjo being consulted. Njonjo also misused his position to clamp down on opposition parties and figures such as Jaramogi Oginga Odinga by drafting draconian laws such as the Preservation of Public Security Act, which allowed the state to detain an individual indefinitely without charges or trial.
I want to say, first of all, that we have in our legislation powers to deal with people who are determined to subvert our government. We have the ordinary criminal law to deal with people who openly will flout our laws. But we have a difficulty of people who hold meetings secretly at night. You don't know what they are doing. The criminal law is not long enough, if one is to can use that expression, to catch them. Now those are the people who I fear will be caught by this legislation. But we hope that nobody in this country wants to subvert our country or try to topple the government unconstitutionally. If anybody wants to be president tomorrow of this country, if he does it constitutionally, then of course he has no fear about this legislation which we introduced the other day.
But he was also known for adhering to the highest standards in the civil service and adhering to the Constitution. For example, when Kenyatta died in 1978, Njonjo oversaw the smooth transfer of power to Vice President Daniel Arap Moi. He ensured that the civil servants, the police, the army, and the provincial administrators pledged their loyalty to the new president.
Vice President, Mr. Daniel Arap Moi, is now President of Kenya for the next 90 days until an election is held for the future President of Kenya.
How is the process of selecting the next candidate, the next president? What happens for that?
So the party will meet and decide which candidate they are going to support.
Does that mean that there's only going to be one candidate, or could there be more?
Well, Kenya is a one-party state, and so there will be only one candidate.
Njonjo continued to exercise great power and influence in Moi's government, just as he had done in Kenyatta's government. But there was also no doubt that he had his own political ambitions of one day replacing Moi as president. Since only an elected member of parliament could become president, Njonjo resigned as Attorney General in 1980 to vie for the Kikuyu parliamentary seat.
Retired from government service with effect from next Friday, the 25th. I have reached the retiring age, and all good things must come to an end. I feel I have served this country as Attorney General for Kenya since 1963. In fact, I was reminded in one of our Commonwealth Law Ministers' Conference that I'm the oldest, not in the tooth, but in the term of service. I have also decided, as a result of a request from a number of people from the Kikuyu constituency, to offer myself as a candidate for Kikuyu.
Having been elected in a post, Njonjo was named as Minister of Home and Constitutional Affairs, but this ministry was later downgraded when Home Affairs was split off and assigned to Vice President Mwai Kibaki. With time, Moi started getting suspicious of Njonjo because of his closeness with the British. In May 1983, just 4 months before the 1983 general election, Moi, in a statement targeting Njonjo, aroused the country by denouncing greed and selfishness among ministers and senior civil servants. He spoke of a conspiracy within the cabinet by individuals promoting their excessive ambitions with assistance from foreign sources. Even though Moi did not elaborate on his sensational charge, heated attacks were mounted in the National Assembly against Njonjo. An assistant minister gave details of purported transfer of large sums of money to Njonjo's accounts from banks in London and the United States. He also claimed there was evidence of Njonjo's ownership of a farm in South Africa. Njonjo, who was in Britain as attacks mounted against him, arrived back in the country, reaffirmed his loyalty for President Moi, and dismissed rumors that he was being groomed by a foreign power to take over from President Moi.
And have always been loyal to our President, His Excellency Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. I believe we all, politicians and others, and indeed the press, have more important jobs to do to rally behind our President in his difficult task of leading us and leading this nation. Let me say categorically that I am not being groomed by any foreign power or powers for any office in this country, as has been suggested by certain politicians and the press in this country. I oppose and would oppose any attempt by any foreign power to interfere in Kenya's affairs. My stand on the sanctity of our Constitution and constitutional process is well known. I have the fullest confidence in the appropriate authorities in our country to carry out any necessary investigation to unearth whoever this person is that foreign powers is trying to impose on us. Gentlemen, I believe it is in a situation as we are today, a situation like this, that one knows who his friends and enemies are. Thank you.
Despite the denial, Moi went ahead and constituted a high-level judicial commission of inquiry led by Gigi Kariuki to investigate Njonjo. In its findings, the inquiry stated that Njonjo had abused his office and had tried to grab power from Moi. Consequently, Njonjo was suspended from the cabinet and also resigns as a member of parliament for Kikuyu. Kano National Governing Council also gave Moi unanimous support in suspending Njonjo from the party. This was part of a broader campaign by Moi to get rid of those he believed were not loyal to him. That said, it appears Njonjo's undoing in the political field was of his own making. In politics, one important asset is the ability to make friends and not to make enemies. And this is one quality that Charles Njonjo did not have. He made so many enemies in parliament that he was in fact ostracized by his own colleagues. Njonjo made another mistake. He looked down upon his fellow Africans by viewing them as inferior to whites and saw some tribes as of low status. For example, he once remarked that he couldn't shake hands with Luos because they were prone to cholera. Nevertheless, later in life, Njonjo reached out to all the people he had antagonized and mended fences with them. In 1992, he supported the presidential bid of Oginga Odinga, a man he had really fought in the 60s, and in 2007, supported his son Raila Odinga against Mwai Kibaki. After his exit from politics in 1983, Njonjo maintained a quiet private life, spending most of his time with his family. He had married very late, at the age of 51, to a white lady called Margaret Bryson at the All Saints Cathedral, Nairobi, in 1972. Among those who attended his wedding were President Kenyatta and a number of cabinet ministers. The reason of marrying late, as he said, was because he was married to his work as Attorney General. He died in 2022 at the age of 101, and his body was cremated. Thanks for watching and listening. See you next time.